This is a compressing garment, and another thing about compressing garments, they also need to be the right size. So based on your measurements earlier, I decided that this will be the best size for you.
Okay.
And have you had experience putting these on in the past?
Yeah, my husband would help me when I had one before, but I was really bad at wearing it, I'll tell you. It just felt weird against my skin. I didn't really like it. But I know it's good for me, so can try.
Just tug up the ends, pull it off. You mentioned it does bother you to have like the feeling of it on your skin.
Yeah.
So what we can do is we can try maybe this getting your skin used to some softer textures at first, and then just work our way up to the compressing garment. And that just helps because of your surgery and because of the lymphedema. You might be like more sensitive than normal, and we can definitely help on helping you get back just to being able to tolerate the feeling of it.
Yeah, and I think one of my biggest issues is I just forget like to put it on when I'm supposed to. Do you have any recommendations for that?
We can set up a schedule for you.
Okay.
And we can start off like we could do wear it for 30 minutes every couple of hours, and then we can, or if smaller than that, maybe every 15 minutes, and then we can work our way up to where you're wearing it consistently throughout the day.
Okay.
And a good way to do that is you can just use your phone.
Oh!
You can pull up the timer app, and you can set an alarm for, say, every hour or every couple of hours, so that you have that reminder. And we can also share this with your husband, and he can remind you too.
That'll be good.
And then you can time the amount that you're wearing it, and we can try to increase that wearing time as well.
He'll keep me honest. Okay, that sounds like a really good plan. So once we get a schedule, you can help me put that in my phone?
I can help you put it in your phone, set up reminders. There's a lot of great apps out nowadays that can help you with that.
Okay, that's really great. And what was the thing you were talking about again with what were you gonna do with my arm?
So we call it systematic desensitization, but that's basically where, since you do have some increased sensitivity, we're gonna start with some soft textures, so like maybe like a plush blanket or towel that's soft, and then we'll gradually work our way up to some tougher textures that right now are harder to tolerate, and then we'll just expose your skin to that, so that's what's going to help you be able to tolerate those rougher textures better and get you used to feeling some sensation.
Yeah, I think that'll be good, because honestly, like right now, even I'm like, I want to take it off. That'll be good.
And what we could do too is like do some distraction techniques, so you can wear it while you're watching TV, play some music, and that will help to take your mind off of it as well.
Those are good ideas. Okay, so I want to talk to you a little bit about diaphragmatic breathing. This is a really, really helpful intervention for lymphedema. What it does is that diaphragm is going to contract and expand in your abdomen, and it's actually going to help that lymph to get moving within you. And so that's going to help kind of manually manage some of those symptoms, and it's something that you can really easily do on your own. So I want to teach it to you. Have you ever done any singing before?
A little bit.
A little bit. This is something that they teach to a lot of singers too, to help kind of expand those lungs. So what I normally do when I teach patients how to do this is I have you place a hand on your tummy here, and I want you, when you breathe in, to feel your stomach expand. And what I like to do, that looks great. And then we're going to inhale through the nose. Out through the mouth. Good. Relax those shoulders. Good. In through the nose. Out through the mouth. Good. And we're focusing on really inhale. Good. Exhale. Letting that belly expand and then lower, and just focusing on letting those shoulders stay put, because we don't want to be breathing here, because that's in our lungs. We want to be expanding that diaphragm. So, does that make sense? Okay, it looks like you're doing a really great job. We'll just do some more practicing with this, and then I will kind of create a little bit of a regimen, if you will, for you to be able to kind of incorporate that into your day-to-day activities, and that should be able to help with some of that movement of our lymph fluid around our body.
Do you think this is something that I could do like while I'm watching TV?
That is a great point. This is a great thing to do while you're watching TV. Even like every commercial, you could do some diaphragmatic breathing, because then you'll remember to do it a little bit more. We can talk about how to keep some reminders to be able to remind you to do that diaphragmatic breathing in your daily life. But I love that you brought that up, because that is a fantastic idea. Is that something that you do most days?
Yeah, I like watching TV with my husband.
Okay, he can help remind you too then to do some of that. He'll do it with you. It's very beneficial for anyone. Okay, so what we're going to do now is I'm going to teach you some more ways to manage your lymphedema symptoms on your own, and I'll be sending you home with a handout today with all of these techniques on it so that you can be doing these on your own. So one of the things that we love to do with lymphedema is light exercise for that arm. And we're actually going to be wearing the compression garment when we're doing those. I know it's difficult, but these are also really good things that you can do while you're watching television or while you're listening to music, having a conversation with your husband. Super easy, mindless, light exercise to get that lymph fluid moving back into that lymph circulation. So I'm going to have you try to put that compression garment on yourself. And it was difficult, and it's kind of hard to yank up there, but I want to see how well you do it yourself. And if you need me, I'm right here. That looks good. How does it feel? Probably not super great.
Yeah, it's kind of tight.
We're going to be working on that systematic desensitization with you, so hopefully it'll get easier as time goes on. I'll just straighten it out here. Okay, looks good. So the first exercise I'm going to teach you here, I'm going to grab this. Is just a squeeze ball. If you've ever heard of stress balls, it's just, and do you have one of these at home?
I think I have one.
Or like a stress ball? Okay, so we can always send this home with you too. But, so what I'm going to have you do is you're going to be seated just like you are, and with that left hand, you're going to just raise it up a little bit, and you're going to give me 10 squeezes with the ball. I'm going to watch you do it. And I'm going to actually just straighten your arm out just a little bit more. Good. So what we're doing is we're getting that blood moving, and that's going to help with pumping that lymph back into that circulation. So we're going to do 10, and then I'll send you again with a sheet.
That's 10.
That's 10? Okay, so we'll do 3 sets of that. So it will be eventually 30 total, but you can take some breaks in between there, and we're going to do that 3 times a day. So I know it seems like a lot, but I think you'll notice a big difference in how your arm is feeling, and hopefully in that tightness that you're feeling with those daily activities. Okay?
How long can the breaks be?
You know, the breaks, they can be as long as you need them to be. I know that fatigue is an issue for you after that second cancer diagnosis, so we want to make sure that we're not also creating more fatigue. So if you need to rest for 3 minutes in between, that's totally fine, but if you feel good after 1 minute, it's totally up to you. I want you to get those reps in, but I want to make sure that we're not aggravating that fatigue. My second one I'm going to show you, this one's super fun. And you had told me that you have 1 pound weights at home, right?
Yep, I have 1 pound weights.
Are they cute pink like this?
They're purple.
Purple. Okay, so what I'm going to have you do this time is you're going to take that left hand, and we're going to do just a little bit of elbow flexion. So it's like a bicep curl, but we're doing it with our 1 pound weight, and we're going to go slow and steady. And you're going to do that for 10 as well. Let's watch you do this here. Good, and make sure to get your elbow all the way extended here for me.
Like that?
Yes, that looks great. We don't have to hyperextend, but we want to just make sure that we're getting that full range of motion here. Awesome. And we're also going to be doing 3 sets of those, so 30 total, but as much of a break you need in between is just fine. And we'll be doing 3 sets of that per day.
Do you have any reminders for like how I can keep track of those sets after I complete them?
Absolutely. So what we can do is we can actually create a chart for you, and we actually have these just around the clinic. It's a calendar, and I can make one for you that has each exercise that you're going to do every day, and little check boxes. So you can check them off I like to check things off. It helps me keep track of what I've done and what I haven't done. So we can send one of those home with you if you'd like. Okay, awesome. The last thing I wanted to mention is I remember you saying you like Pilates, right?
Yeah, I love Pilates.
Pilates, so
I do it each week.
Each week. I love that you're doing that because getting that body moving is also a really good way to manage those lymphedema symptoms, get some things moving. The other thing that's really, really great is yoga. So that gentle movement, gentle stretch in your body. So Pilates is very similar to yoga. If you want to incorporate some yoga into that routine, that would also probably be really beneficial for you. I know that you can actually even just find some routines on YouTube, and we can work on some of that in the clinic as well if you'd like. Okay, so I want to talk to you a little bit about something that we call grading up or grading down an activity or an exercise. This is something that we really like doing as therapists, and we like to teach our clients how to do it as well, because I know that some days you might feel more fatigued than others, especially with that bilateral mastectomy being just, under a year ago. That causes a lot of fatigue, and we've talked about that. And so I want to make sure that you're comfortable in knowing that we can grade up and grade down these exercises that I've taught you. So the first one that I want to talk about is that diaphragmatic breathing that we worked on. So one of the ways that we can make this easier is we can actually decrease the count in which we're breathing in and out. So maybe instead of going in for 4 and out for 4, we can go in for 2 and out for 2. It's a little bit less fatiguing. But if you're feeling really good that day and you want to try to increase that count, I love that. Go for it. There's no restriction on that. So if you want to try in for 6, out for 6, in for 8, out for 8, even I've seen that people get even up to 10. So whatever you're comfortable with and whatever you're feeling is appropriate in order to kind of make that activity, that exercise more conducive to how you're feeling that day. Does that make sense?
I think it does. Could I also change the number of times I repeat each too?
Absolutely. Yes, I'm glad you mentioned that. Yeah, you can also change the number of times that you're actually completing the exercise or doing that breathing. So maybe you're doing 10 repetitions, and on the sheet I suggest 15. But if you're feeling really fatigued that day, we can take it down to 10 or down to 8. If you're feeling really good and you're watching TV with your husband, by all means, go up to 20. The more that we can get that fluid moving, the better. And so there's a lot of options here for us to kind of flex and flow with these exercises. The other thing that we can do with those light exercises that I taught you, with that ball and that 1 pound weight, we can also decrease the number of reps there. So I had told you 10 for both of those activities in 3 sets. Maybe we're doing 10, but we're just doing 2 sets that day if we're feeling specifically fatigued. Or maybe if you're feeling really good that day and you're wanting to keep that lymph moving, maybe do 12 repetitions and then those 3 sets. Or maybe we're doing those 10 reps still, but we can up to 4 sets instead. Or instead of doing 3 times a day, we could do 2, or we can up to 4. Does that kind of make sense? So we can. There's a lot of flexibility in there. Do you have any questions on that?
I know we worked with a 1 pound weight. I think I have a 2 pound weight at home. Should I try that too if I feel like it?
You can. I think that we could. I think what I would prefer is to stick with that 1 pound weight for now.
This is called a long handle sponge. Have you seen it before? We used it.
I don't think so.
So since you mentioned you do have difficulty reaching back and reaching up to wash your hair, this is a way to help you extend that reach. And what you do, you take your soap or your shampoo, and then you scrub that over the sponge, and then you can reach behind your back, wash your back, wash your hair, and that just helps alleviate some of that discomfort that you have with washing your back and hair.
Oh, that's great. Can I try it?
Go for it.
So do I reach back like
You
this?
can just reach back and then scrub your back as you normally would.
Oh, I like this. This is so much easier. I don't really feel like it's pulling as much, kind of on my shoulder area.
And this is something that you can do while we're working in lymphedema. You can use that just to decrease your discomfort, because we don't want you to have to feel uncomfortable doing that. So
that'll be really helpful.
I
think it'll probably get me through showering faster too, because it just takes me a really long time to reach all the way and try to, with my tightness and everything. So this will help speed up my shower